That is right, everyone. We have a nice storm going on. What is cranking, fishaholics? So for today's video, I feel like I need to cover something that's been kind of actually on my mind for a little bit. And it's something that I can't hold back anymore. And it's time that I need to discuss with this. That's kind of a bit of an issue lately. And I mean, obviously, if you guys probably, it's something to do with. It's really hard to put it, you know, in a way that makes sense. But I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right into it, everyone. So feel free to stick around to figure out what I am about to share with you. Okay, so for the last couple of years, just lately in the bass fishing industry, one of the most controversial topics, if not the most controversial topic in the history of sports fishing, forward-facing sonar or live scope, whatever, which one you want to call it, has been a very big controversy for the last few years. And just in the last year, it has really skyrocketed in the fishing community. Obviously, people on social media have seen some of the new, next generation pro anglers using forward-facing sonar to, go out and, catching the fish while, claiming people are, they're seeing, well, I guess they are looking down at their screens, while fishing to try and see if a fish will bite. I feel like a lot of people really, I think, not really exactly understanding how the screen works. Obviously, I've kept my opinions and thoughts about forward-facing sonar to myself for quite a while, but after seeing numerous content creators and so many comments on the YouTube community of, backlashing it so much, like so vigorously, I feel like I can't keep my opinion just to myself anymore, and I feel like it's my turn to share my thoughts on the use of forward-facing sonar. Now, forward-facing sonar, also known as live scope, obviously, if you guys have seen many content creators with, expensive fiberglass boats, and have those sonar screens out in the front of the edge of their boat, what it looks like, a lot of people describe it as almost like a video game screen, and that's why some people think that these anglers, they're not fishing, they're literally playing a video game. Well, yes, I will admit, I've seen footage of people using these screens before, and, I'm not 100% supportive of using it, but I feel like if you are fishing in, like, a pro series, like whether it's like Bassmaster or MLF, you are going to be going up against some of those folks that do have that stuff. If you're not, using any of that stuff of the technology that the modern day fishermen have, what chances do you have of, doing pretty well in those tournaments? Now, if you're just now listen, when it comes to tournament fishing, like if you're fishing like a local derby in your area, and you only have maybe like 10, maybe 12 different people competing in the derby, and if you see a few of these guys that have forward-facing sonar while the rest of the other contestants don't have that to me feels like that's kind of a bit of an unfair advantage right there. And I feel like, yeah, that's not giving other anglers a chance, or an opportunity to go ahead and actually have a shot at winning these derbies. But there's a difference between like professional fishing and regular fishing. Now, if you're just doing regular fishing, on your own, like you're not doing any derbies or anything, you're just fishing and you're using the live scope, in my honest opinion, I don't see anything wrong with using it. Again, if you're just doing casual fishing, I see nothing wrong with it. If you are fishing like a local derby and you see somebody that has those technology stuff with it and the rest of the other anglers don't, I guess I can understand where some people would be pretty upset about it. Like they say, like either they can't afford it, or it's because, yeah, it's not fair to use it. That gives other anglers a disadvantage. But I feel like lately, though, in the last couple of years in the bass fishing community, it's kind of been a bit more negative. When you see me go out and do some fishing, especially bass fishing, you guys know that I don't really use any electronics at all, to find the fish. I just go to the right places, at a certain time of year, and a certain time of day, or like what the weather pattern is, and I try to, maybe look around to figure out exactly where the fish could be, hanging out at. you know, I do pretty much all bank fishing in all my videos because if you guys don't know, I do not have a boat of my own. But it'd be cool if I did have one, but sadly I do not. Even with doing all bank fishing for quite a while on this channel, you guys notice that I have caught some pretty nice fish. I've caught some salmon, I've caught some nice smallmouth, yeah, all those kinds of species right there. I just feel like seeing so much negativity in the bass fishing community really is kind of really ruining the sport, you know, especially for little kids that like to watch content creators that do bass fishing stuff. It feels like, you know, some people that are making negative content, it's almost like pushing towards, you know, younger audiences to not go ahead and do any bass fishing because it's not fun anymore. But in reality, to me, there is still a lot of fun to it. I still see kids, you know, in my area that still do fishing and stuff, and they have a great time with it, you know, whether it's with their parents or their friends that love to go outside and, you know, have a good time in the outdoors. This is just my opinion on, you know, the live scoping stuff, everybody. I'm kind of half and half on it. On one side, I mean, I don't see really a huge, I don't see how, I feel like some people in the community are over exaggerating the usage of it so much. If I'm in, you know, fishing in the pros, for example, if I was a professional fisherman and I was in like Bassmaster MLF, and the time of year which we're going into is, it's already springtime, if I'm on my boat and I decide to go ahead and fish up shallow where there's probably some bass on beds, I'm very unlikely going to use my screen because I'm literally up in shallow water and I'm going to be using, you know, my normal instincts, you know, to sight fish carefully and look around and, you know, do some casting up near the banks and, you know, pinpoint exactly where potentially a bass would be on a bed at. But if I'm fishing like extremely deep water, you know, that's like 20, 30, you know, 30 feet deep, then I probably would be using that kind of stuff because I'm not 100% for sure knowing exactly where the depth of the fish are going to be at. You know, are they going to be sitting directly on the bottom floor? Are they going to be up in the midsection? Or are they going to be up near the surface? I'm not 100% sure. So, to rely on this technology, you know, it kind of can be used as a tool, you know, to help determine, you know, at the depth of where the fish would be at. I guess then again, though, you can use 2D sonar imagery too. I mean, and then listen, speaking of 2D sonar imagery, everyone, that type of tool there too has been around for as long as I can remember, since I was a kid. I'm pretty sure when it was first introduced also, it got some criticism as well because some people were, you know, believing that, you know, some of the pros are going to be using it as a tool, you know, and almost like in a cheating way. But you got to realize though, it's a 2D sonar imagery, so it's not going to be showing the fish interacting live with your bait, unlike live scope. But at the same time, even with a live scope, you still got to try and catch the fish, everybody. I mean, you still got to use a rod and a lure. You got to cast out there still, everybody. In one way or another, you still got to use some skills too. I mean, I've seen footage of anglers even with live scope still using some skills out there. You know, like when they, you know, rig on a jerkbait out there, they still got to do some twitches with that to try and get a reaction out of the bass to try and see if it'll, you know, come up and take it or not. I feel like I just wanted to get that off my chest. If you guys, if any of you are watching this and have your own thoughts and opinions on forward-facing sonar, you guys can express your opinions in the comments down below too, and just trying to keep it, you know, civil and respectful, everyone, because, you know, when people start calling out certain people that are being so negative, you know, in the fishing industry, and I'm not going to say any names because I feel like that feels like it's like intentional targeting or something like that. So please keep it civil in the comments down below, but again, feel free to share what your thoughts are on the use of live scope, everyone. And do I think I'm gonna ever get afford, you know, the live scope stuff? I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure on it, because again, I'm kind of half and half on it, you know, and I've known a couple people that have used live scope and stuff, but I've had no negative experience with it, or because even when we use it, you know, for fishing, I mean, we're not, you know, we're not having a buffet with fish there. We're not. It just really depends on, you know, like the water temperature, the depth, the seasons, you know, and weather patterns. Very important to figure all that stuff out. But I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that leave it here, everybody. Feel free to, like I said, express your comments down below, and I'm gonna go ahead and just end this video, everybody. So I will see you guys hopefully soon outside in the next adventure.